It's that time of the year again. We're getting a new generation of OPPO Reno smartphones. This time, we have the Reno 13 series with us, and this is the OPPO Reno 13 Pro 5G. This phone is rather interesting, so do like and subscribe, and we'll talk through the phone right now. So one of the main highlights of this generation though is the design. You see, the OPPO Reno 13 Pro has this aerospace grade aluminum frame that just sounds super solid. Yeah, and the back of the phone has this unique plume texture and also butterfly shadow effect. The plume texture gives it a matte finish with some sparkles. As for the butterfly shadow effect, well, I thought it was weird when I first saw the phone only, but when I put the phone and the box together, this is where the butterfly comes from. I mean, it certainly is unique, but most of us will still put a case on the phone anyway, so that will mostly be covered up. Also, this effect is only available in the plume purple color that we have here. The graphite grey is just a basic grey color with no special textures. One thing that I like a lot about the Reno 13 Pro is the camera bump. It's surprisingly modest compared to many other phones in the market right now, and OPPO makes good use of this space here. We have a total of 3 cameras on the Reno 13 Pro, with the specs itself listed on the screen here. I thought the tiny camera is a depth sensor, but no, it is actually an ultra-wide angle camera with autofocus too, and that is for macro. Looking at the pictures taken with the OPPO Reno 13 Pro, I do think that it does take good pictures with all the 3 cameras. Certain busy scenes with more details will definitely highlight the ultra-wide angle camera's shortcomings, but I still think that it looks okay for social media purposes. Both outdoors and indoors shots look good. As for the night shots though, the main camera can definitely take great photos. It actually balances out the bright lights really well too. The ultra-wide angle camera is going to show the shortcomings even more. It's not particularly sharp or detailed, but the colors are still good. For the telephoto camera, this is where things get even more complicated. You see, the OPPO Reno 13 Pro has this auto lens switching feature. At 3.5 times zoom and beyond, if it detects that the scene isn't bright enough, then it will automatically switch from the telephoto camera to the main camera. And I believe this screen recording highlights what I'm saying with utmost clarity. This happens on many other phones in the market right now, but OPPO does not allow us to disable this feature, so we will get such images. It looks good for a zoom night shots, but if I move the phone camera out of the light source a little bit, then it will change to the main camera with a 3.5 times digital zoom and will create this kind of unappealing image. And this also happens on almost every single night shot that I took with the OPPO Reno 13 Pro 5G. I really hope OPPO will just give us the option to disable the auto lens switching feature and make the shutter speed go longer for the telephoto camera. That will compensate for the lack of light. The software is actually really similar to what we have experienced on the Find X8 Pro. It's running on the latest ColorOS 15 on top of Android 15, and all of the features found on the Find X8 Pro are also here as well. We have the Aqua Dynamics as well as the super fluid animations and responsive UI alongside with all of the AI features as well. I still really like the AI summary feature that just summarizes everything shown on the particular website and bypasses all of the ads at the same time, and the AI Speak feature that reads the entire website's content word for word, even when the screen is locked or while we are doing something else on another app. However, the Reno 13 Pro is also filled with ads. It has a lot of random apps installed that we have to clean it out manually, and both the hot games and hot apps are still here and they are still unnecessary. The only app that makes use of the double tapping of the power button is Find Easy, and that app is still not going to be used by a lot of people, and we cannot reconfigure this gesture to do something else, which is actually a big deal for me because I would like to double press the power button to launch the camera app, for example. Surprisingly, the performance here though is going to be more towards a premium mid-range level, as it is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 8350. Now, from what I can find out, this Dimensity 8350 is pretty much the same as the Dimensity 8300, but with a new game engine called StarSpeed. There isn't really much concrete on what was actually changed, but there are some highlighted numbers from MediaTek themselves, so we decided to just do a gaming test to find out what it actually can give us. On Genshin Impact on medium graphical settings, the Reno 13 Pro can indeed get 60 FPS consistently. However, when it does thermal throttle eventually at 44 degrees Celsius, and the frame rate will drop to around 30 to 40 FPS. Surprisingly, there are no sudden frame dips, so the frame drops are not jarring at all. It is quite gradual. However, some more intensive games like Zenless Zone Zero is going to be tough on this phone. Again, at the medium graphical settings, the Reno 13 Pro can achieve 60 FPS at first, but when the phone heats up over time, it can drop to around 20 FPS only, which is, for such an action-intensive game, it is very jarring. Still, if we lower the graphical settings a bit more or put a cooler on this phone, then it can be a good phone for gaming as well. We have tested quite a lot of other games as well, so if you want to watch the entire gaming test video, then the link is down in the description below or at the top right corner there. As for the battery life, this phone comes with a rather big 5800 mAh battery or 22.74 Wh capacity. Watch our video at the top right corner there or in the description to know why we use Wh. Anyway, using our standardized battery life test, the Reno 13 Pro can last for around 14 hours and 30 minutes. And this is actually quite good, and it can last comfortably throughout a full days of usage. The charging speed though is an interesting one. OPPO included their signature 80 watts Super VOOC charger in the box, and we can charge the phone from 15% to completion in around 46 minutes. Then we can head into the settings menu and turn on the fast charging option, and it will charge the phone a bit faster, but not by a huge margin. Honestly, it is not worth turning on the fastest charging option as it will hit the battery a lot more, but with very little improvement in terms of the charging speed. What I'm disappointed here though is the lack of USB PD support by this phone. I plugged in the Reno 13 Pro to our USB PD charger, and this phone will only take in 13 watts maximum, and it takes a really long time to charge completely. I was hoping that OPPO will bring the USB PD PPS support to the Reno series as well, because the Find X8 had that support. Now let's talk about the screen. It's using a 6.83-inch AMOLED screen with a resolution of 2800 by 1271 pixels, and it goes up to 120Hz refresh rate. The maximum brightness of this screen is around 1200 nits, which is actually very good even if we use the phone outdoors. Now, the phone itself has a total of 3 different color profiles. My eyes can instantly see that the default color profile is not as saturated, and hence will have a not so good DCI-P3 color gamut coverage, but with great sRGB coverage. Our colorimeter confirms that as well. As for the Pro color profile, it desaturates the color even more and lowers the color gamut coverage across the board. No idea who this color profile is made for, but here are the results from our colorimeter. The Vivid color profile will enhance the color gamut coverage, making it look a lot more saturated than before. If you want more vibrant colors, then use the Vivid color profile. Do note that saturated colors can tire the eyes a bit more. Now, there are a few more things to mention about the OPPO Reno 13 Pro. This phone comes with a USB 2.0 port at the bottom, and it does not support display output. No micro SD card support, but it does have dual SIM card slot support and an IR blaster at the top. We can use the IR remote app to control various different things with this phone, and that is really handy. So, should you buy the OPPO Reno 13 Pro? I honestly do think that this is a great phone. The cameras are actually good, and the telephoto camera is especially great, but the auto lens switching feature is holding it back. It also ultimately boils down to the price, which I don't have it here. So I'll leave the price on the screen here when we have it at a later date, of course. My final thoughts about this phone will also be in the comment section below and in the description as well. So do let us know, what do you think about the OPPO Reno 13 Pro? Do you think that the price for this phone is good or not? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.